It's time for the SVU After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. We are talking Season 19, Episode 6, Unintended Consequences. But these consequences seem pretty intended. Stick around!
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin!
Hello and welcome to the SVU After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. If you haven't already, go to YouTube, search for AfterBuzz TV's drama channel. That's where we live. Super dramatic SVU. The most dramatic.
Always.
The dramaticist. Yep. I'm Yael Tygiel. I am joined by Taylor Gates.
What's up, guys?
Oh, this song
Gives me chills.
gets me so excited. When I was watching this episode earlier, I was like, oh, this song.
My sister and I made an interpretive dance to it.
And one day we will see it here on the show.
Perhaps not.
Probably. Before we jump into Season 19, Episode 6, Unintended Consequences, I would like to remind everyone of the RAIN hotline. That's right, if you are in a situation where you need someone to speak to, if you were assaulted, anything like that, please call RAIN 1-800-656-4673, 1-800-656-4673. They are wonderful people. They also have an online chat where they do not track who you are, so you can talk to them there as well.
Good stuff.
Great. So because we've now gotten that out of the way, let's discuss this episode. I'm going to say some terrible stuff.
Yeah, not your fave.
Not my fave, but also like the things that happened, the jokes I'll make are probably awful.
Yeah, there was some moments.
Yes. So what did you think of this episode overall?
I'm not gonna lie, I liked it better watching it now, because like I said, last time we did a show, I didn't remember this one very well. I remember being let down, and then I watched it again, I was like, oh, this is like not bad. Especially the end, because like, you know, I like my twists.
So interesting that you feel that way.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching something where I did not remember what was going to happen. It felt like a new episode.
Yeah, that's always fun.
All I remembered knowing was that it wasn't the doctor guy.
Yeah.
I remember knowing that and being disappointed.
Yeah, I thought, for some reason, I thought Amanda went undercover as, like, a janitor or something.
No.
And then I was like, oh, yeah, she was, like, the little assistant for a second there.
Well,
for, like, a second. I wanted more.
But she also was invited to be undercover for 2 days. Like,
Yeah.
the woman was like, come shadow me for 2 days and see if you can handle it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Did they know that was going to happen? It seemed very convenient.
It was so convenient. Anyway, I was disappointed with this episode for a second time.
Just let you down again and
Let me down
again.
My opening thoughts, though, when we see the first girl, Christy, getting taken, she had the face of the missing girl from last week and the hair of the teen vlogger from a few weeks ago.
Yes, the hair. I was like, why does everyone have this weird hair now?
So watching these again, I was like, that's so interesting.
It's a mashup.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that when we get to that, but the opening is so misleading.
I remember, what I remembered watching it a second time was that the girl taken is not the girl who's found dead, and then I couldn't remember what they had anything to do with each other.
But I was like, what do these two things have to do with each other? And then it's like, just what they do to get them there. It's crazy, but whatever.
Well, so the Christy is the girl who's taken.
Yes.
Who later we see having a meltdown.
Who's like not taken. She's like kidnapped for good or whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
Her parent, like that's how her parents had her taken to rehab.
What? That seems messed up.
Anyway, so Christy is snatched, and then we see a different girl, and she's dead, and she might be 15, and she OD'd, and she looks like she was sexually assaulted. Yep, that's our victim.
Pretty standard.
Thank you. Okay, so I really enjoyed Finn visiting the narcotics department.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
And their nicknames that they have. Jinky and Hakapoko. All right. It's cute. Like, who comes up with it? Do they just, like, type letter? Like, the cat just walks across the keyboard, and that's who they pick to be their nicknames.
So they go and they pick up the local dealer, and it turns out that he doesn't know the dead girl, he knows her boyfriend. When Benson comes in to confirm the photo, and he's like, who is she? I wrote it down. I'm the bitch that's gonna smack your pretty face the next time you say ho.
I also wrote that down, and I also wrote down a little bit before that, where he goes, I never sold to the bitch. And Finn goes, are you trying to go to jail? Like, that was just full of good lines.
Yeah, but then he says, I never sold to the young lady. That's your correction?
Yeah.
Your correction is I don't sell. I think
No,
that's
it was all about what he called her.
silly. Such a
Silly.
silly. Because also, Finn, he's a drug dealer.
Yeah.
He has no respect for women.
No.
Okay.
No respect.
So then we figure out that Mr. Stash is Tommy. So the first 15 minutes of this episode felt like it had nothing to do
Yeah, honestly.
with anything else.
Yes, so true. Like, the story doesn't even start until they go to the rehab.
Yeah, so I'm not even there yet. We found Mr. Stash. Carisi informs him that the girl's dead. Her name is Natalie. He hasn't seen her in, like, forever.
Yeah.
She showed up and he had plans. What a douchebag. This girl that you give drugs to and I assume sleep with shows up and you're like, I got plans.
Yeah.
No,
You drop what you're doing.
Yeah, you go get drugs with her and you sleep with her. Well, I'm confused.
He knows her address, but not her last name.
Yeah, classy dude.
Classy.
His name is Tommy Stash.
Tommy Stash.
Mr. Stash.
Mr. Stash.
Okay, so we
Sounds
find
like a
her
mafia
parents.
We don't. Maybe he is in the mafia. We don't know.
No, he'd be terrible in the mafia.
Yeah, he would be. It's true.
His name would be changed
I
to
would watch
Mr.
that.
Snitch.
I would watch that spinoff of just a terrible mafia guy.
All right, so we find Natalie's parents. I like when Rollins is like, why didn't you report her missing? You haven't seen her in months. At that moment, I was like, Rollins, let something click in your head.
Yeah.
We haven't seen her in months. We didn't file a police report. She's not supposed to be home.
Yeah.
But Rollins,
Come on, girl.
Later, she's like, I'm a detective. I figured out that you were with Sheila.
But you couldn't
Yeah.
figure out that the girl was not supposed to be here? Okay. It's fine.
All right, so she's in rehab, and the parents reveal to us that it's they blame themselves because she went from oxy to heroin. I'm no drug person, but
It seems like a weird jump.
thank you.
I did feel bad though. It's like, oh, that sucks that they went, because I know that it can be like gateways and you can get addicted to different kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
but
and
that's
ruins
a
your
big
life.
old jump.
That is a big jump, but that was like a moment I actually did sympathize with the characters. Like once, I don't sympathize very much on the show, but here I was like, oh, that's sad.
Yes, I get why they felt guilty. It wasn't their fault, but I was too caught up on put Coke in between those.
Maybe there was a
You know what I
transition
mean? Like,
period.
because pills to injecting is real fast.
Yeah.
Also, like, it should have gone pills to more pills to snorting it, then to injecting.
See, it seems like you know a lot about drugs, Yael.
I don't. I just have watched 19 seasons of SVU.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Well, you know how the progression's supposed to work.
Anyway, so then we find Lux, the treatment facility for troubled girls. But before we talk about that, Taylor, why don't you tell us about something fun and exciting better than Lux?
Heck yeah.
Better treatment for teenage girls.
So true. Hey, AfterBuzz. Our network produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. Win-win situation there. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're completely optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel, and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments, because we love feeling the love from you guys. And for now, just thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, for those who don't know, we're on iTunes.
We are.
And previously, we had Lauren Salon on the panel who used to try to narrate your iTunes reviews and personify emojis.
Amazing.
We have an iTunes review that I'd like to read because this is a new one. So I'm going to read it to y'all if I can get it up. I just said y'all like I'm from Texas.
Y'all.
It doesn't happen often. All right. Okay. So it says, yay, you're back. 5 stars from Nova Owl 28. I'm so excited now. I used to listen to these every single week, and then it was gone for a while. I happened to come across it again today, and it makes me so freaking happy to see y'all back. See, that's probably where I
It's
got the y'all.
because
Yeah. Y'all, you're hilarious as always. Oh, thanks. And still have the encyclopedia brain for SVU. I do. It's all I know.
You do.
So glad to be able to listen to this weekly again. Welcome back, ladies. Thank you, Nova
Thank
Owl.
you.
So if you leave us an iTunes review, I will try to remember to look at them and bring them to the
Yes.
show. And if they're emojis, well, Lauren's not here to make faces.
But we'll figure something out.
We'll figure something out. Okay, let's talk about Lux. What a
weird name.
Especially because I'm pretty sure it's been used in the show for like a massage parlor or something.
I'm sure. It reminds me of if anyone watched Life Unexpected, there was the character's name and that was Lux, so that's what I was thinking of like the whole time.
That's
just
funny.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
And I knew it meant light because of that. I was like, I know. I've watched Life Unexpected.
Of course you did. All right, so they don't put out police reports when girls run away because they run away a lot, and then they usually return because they have no money and nowhere to go.
I mean, that's a thought process.
Yeah, I get the, like, we would tell the police and the police didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And I get their whole, we're trying not to make it seem like a jail policy, but it would be beneficial to have a security guard at the front door.
Right.
Period. End of sentence.
Yeah. Yes. That's very true.
Security guard at the front door.
Literally anything more than what you're doing would be
Like,
so beneficial.
Or, like, you have cameras. You see where the person goes.
No, don't need it. They'll be back.
Great.
Okay.
So we meet Rosemary Taylor. She is a social worker and the den mom.
I love her.
I thought it was her.
Me too. I was like, she's shady, but I don't want her to be. And then she wasn't. Kind of wasn't. And I was like, yes, queen.
I was like, she's doing experimentations on them.
Yeah.
That'd be
She
fun.
turned out to be real cool, though.
Okay.
I like me some Rosemary.
All right. So we find out that Natalie was 2 months pregnant, but has been in rehab for 6 months.
Something's not adding up.
Oh, the math. Okay. So then they come back wanting to see her file, but it's been moved off site already.
Are these things not computerized either?
Yeah. That
Y'all,
was.
that was 2017 when this was made.
I was also like, what do you mean it's on off site? Like,
Where are you putting it?
you emailed it out and it's not in your outbox? I'm very confused.
Yeah, and even if you like physically move the file, like where are you storing it?
It didn't make a lot of sense as to
No.
why they couldn't see
I need
it.
an explanation.
So they find footage of her leaving. They see that she hasn't been injured when she left, but they found footage of her on the subway where she was injured at that point. So there's a discrepancy. Her whole, like, how did she get out and where did she go storyline felt not just disconnected, but irrelevant.
Yeah, I agree.
Because what it turned out to be about had nothing to do with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
This episode,
It was kind of all over the place.
it was. But it brought us to the girl who had a civil suit against them,
Yeah.
who now runs Cuddle Bubble.
Who's a pro cuddler.
What did you think of this profession?
I mean, listen, if you can make money off of that, you go for it.
I was fascinated and want to look up how I can do this for a living.
It's a thing. I've read like BuzzFeed articles about it.
Oh, it's
It's
real?
a real thing. Oh yeah.
Send me those articles.
I will. It's real. I've like watched like weird documentaries and stuff about it.
Do you mean MTV True Life or like actual
No,
documentaries?
well, not like YouTube documentaries, but it's like, you know, like the BuzzFeed and stuff like goes into. They go into different like weird places and talk to other people, and it's really interesting.
I could do that. I could be a cuddle.
I bet you could.
Cuddler.
I couldn't. I don't like physical contact really. Get
Professional
away
cuddler.
from me.
But I do like to small spoon.
Well,
It's
maybe
gonna
if
be
people
weird.
are into that, we don't know.
I'll figure this out, guys. Okay, so then they have a warrant and consent and parental consent, but the facility refuses to turn over the files.
That lawyer was no nonsense too. She's like, wow, and she just struts up to like the judge's little podium stand thing. Was like,
I was with Barb on that, being like, what? Why is this? How is this possible that she's dead and the parental rights have not returned to the parents?
to the parents, yeah,
Because it's not like they're throwing her the funeral. You know what I mean?
right, huh?
I feel like once she's deceased, they've lost custody.
Right.
You know, in a sense?
Yeah, that could get tricky though. I feel like in other cases, like not an institution, but if like another relative has
Right.
someone.
I don't mean, I mean specifically with institutions.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Especially if I'm the institution she ran away from and died.
Yeah.
That should lose you
Yikes.
custody and rights.
Agreed.
Thank you. I should be a lawyer on this show.
You should.
But only on the show, not in real law. All right, so Rollins goes to Rosemary's presentation about opioids. We get a very brief story about her daughter.
Yep.
And Rollins decides in that moment to go undercover as a social worker.
Of course.
I will remind everyone, not the first time Rollins has gone
No, we've
undercover,
had better episodes of that.
but also not the first time she's gone undercover without asking permission.
Of course not. She's Rollins. She don't need permission. I mean, she does, but she never gets it.
The thing is, when I saw her sitting there, I was like, oh, she got permit. Like,
yeah, me too.
Because otherwise, why would you start lying, Rollins?
Yeah.
Like, call up Liv.
Like, I'm sure she'd be like, okay.
She'd
Like,
be
why
like,
would she have a problem with that?
She'd be like, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, okay, Olivia's too distracted right now.
Trust me, we'll get to that. Yeah, but so Rosemary hires her. She offers her 2 days in as assistant.
Because you totally know within 2 days you're cut out for it.
Well, when she shows up, she sees Christy detoxing. She throws a chair. She doesn't want to eat. She spits at Rosemary.
Rosemary doesn't care.
See,
She's a boss.
at that moment, I was like, oh, she beats them in their sleep or something.
No, I agree. I felt like she was fishy too. But now that I know she's not, I can like fawn over her.
No, she's still fishy.
She was pretty fishy.
I don't trust her. But I'm going to say a weird sentence, everybody.
Do it.
I wish she was abusing those girls.
It would have been the more interesting route to take,
Yes.
I think. I definitely think
Thank
so, too.
you. Thank you for explaining my weird sentence.
We didn't really plant who did it earlier. And that's what bothers me when it just comes kind of out of nowhere. Like, it didn't come out of completely nowhere, but it was like, we didn't really, like, spend time there. You know what I mean?
Because she OD'd.
Yeah. I just would have liked... I don't know.
I
It felt like it was a little bit just like last minute thrown in there.
Yeah. All right. So after Rosemary goes to wash her face from the spit, Rollins steals the file and is like, "It's insurance fraud."
She says the worst sentence though.
Say it.
Because she was like, was anyone raped? And she goes, besides the insurance companies? I'm like, we do not say stuff like that.
Yeah, that feels like a non-SVU rape joke.
That feels like a season 2, like, mistake.
That feels like a season 2 man says it.
Yes. That was gross. I was like, we're really still doing this? I don't like that at all.
So then we find out from Rosemary's former assistant, because luckily Benson remembers that we have to find a way that we would have found this regardless. And he lets us know about Brooke.
And you know why he doesn't work there anymore?
Why?
Because he likes to smile every now and then. Love it.
All right, let's talk about Brooke for a second. First of all, having a halfway house called Alt, really obnoxious.
Yeah.
That really bothered me a lot.
Yeah, it really bothered me a lot.
I was like, oh, we're too lazy to pick a name?
Yes.
I don't know, alternative nature-y thing. Brooke, that works.
Brooke.
Alt Brooke. It was
like
that
they
or
have a
Alt
wheel.
Pine.
They have a wheel that they just pick their names from.
It was gonna be Alt Pine, but
Alt
they were
Creek.
like,
Alt
Brooke.
Brooke this time.
So we meet, I just wrote Douchey Counselor, that's his name.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know his name either.
He had a name, but Douchey Counselor
He called
will work.
himself Romeo. So we'll call him Romeo.
He called him Romeo because he was explaining why it wasn't rape because of the
Right.
Romeo and Juliet
And
laws.
so we'll call him Romeo.
Douchey Romeo.
Douchey Romeo.
Great. So then they try to charge, well, not Douchey Romeo, because apparently he knows the law.
Yeah, he's... You could use these powers for better than this, Douchey Romeo.
I was expecting, and maybe it happened, I forgot, I don't know. I was expecting that his, like, oh, I got this job because I'm in law school. Or I got this job because I want to be a social worker. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing this because it's helpful to what I'm trying to do with my life. Not just, I'm some strange dude they hired.
He's just some strange dude they hired.
But wouldn't it have been so much more interesting if he was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a lawyer, but until then I can rape these women?
Yeah, that would have been a choice that we're picking the more difficult things for them to write. which is
That's
always
one
more
sentence.
interesting.
One sentence.
Yeah, but then we could like explore that.
When he was like Romeo and Juliet law, and they were like, "What are you, a lawyer?" "Yes, I'm studying to be a lawyer."
All right, season 20. I want a whole episode of a guy that does that.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
Thank you. All right, so we're trying to charge the doctor from Lux. He points out that you can't try him, you can't try Lux, you can't try any of this. You can't try any of the...
try nobody.
Because these women... I was like, he's standing there in front of the lawyer, listing off why these women are not good witnesses. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to be like, you should be fired.
Yeah.
His lawyer should have been like, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. You always tell your client to be
Stop
quiet
talking
when they do something dumb like that. Yeah.
So
They
need
couldn't pay him to say the line. That's always the excuse that we like think happened. If no one says something they should have, they couldn't pay him.
So we have to connect Brooke and Lux. And so they go to Rosemary, the one person with a conscience.
Yes.
So they also discover that the doctor put the douche in charge of Brooke. Mm-hmm. And so they are going to go after him for racketeering charges, which, like, why didn't we do this, like, 2 hours ago when Rollins was like, insurance fraud?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. So then Rollins gets a call from Rosemary. Do you want to tell us what happened after she gets the call from Rosemary?
Yeah, I do.
I'm sure you do.
Rosemary has killed the doctor with fentanyl. Taste of his own medicine. Obsessed. I love it when crazy stuff happens like that.
And her last line, you can arrest me now.
Yeah, like I said, queen. I thought it was awesome. I love it when weird deaths like that happen at the end. It reminded me of the one where the girl has killed the guy with the scuba
shark
diving knife. Yeah.
I was just thinking about that's the episode with John Stamos where he impregnates all
you
those
mean
women.
Uncle Jesse?
Yes, where he impregnates all those
Yeah.
women.
And she's like sitting and drinking wine, right?
And,
She's just chilling there.
But she says to Olivia to let her finish the wine because they didn't have it in prison. Great episode.
Oh,
Great
endings like
episode.
this. You could end every episode like this, and I would be here for it probably.
With a woman who's committed a crime going, I'm ready.
Yes, it's just he was just chilling there.
I want that to happen every episode, season 20, but with the women that didn't have anything to do with it.
It's just, like, I
a woman
felt
being
like
like,
it.
I'm ready. Okay.
It's my favorite trope.
Let's talk about Noah. How
Let's
exciting.
talk about now. Oh, that didn't work very well.
Nope. All right. So we open with Grandma Sheila reading to Noah.
Like literally a sentence, and then they're done.
Yeah, I was like, that's the middle of the book. You did not finish.
We'll save the rest for tomorrow.
So then we have this discussion about which is the Eddie the elephant.
Olivia's so judgy the whole time. It made me laugh so hard.
Well,
she's like, it's the elephant.
Obviously.
Obviously. And she was like, oh yeah, Eddie the elephant. And Olivia doesn't even crack a smile. Like, she does not care.
If I were Noah, I'd be like, Mom, why are you just standing there all weird while she reads?
Yeah, she really is just like creepy looking in. Like she's not inside the room, she's not outside the room, she's just kind of halfway in and out.
All right, so then we have the awkward interaction over tea, which before we go on, you posted a comparison.
I sure did.
And I think your comparison is wrong.
Why?
Well,
the scene by scene. Okay, so I'll explain it to you, and then I'll plug my Twitter handle later so you can see it, because it's literally a masterpiece, and it's flopping right now, even though it's my best tweet, I think, ever.
I disagree. Go on.
It's so good. But okay, so she's stirring this glass of tea really angrily, and we have a close-up of the teacup, and I was like, oh my god, this is Get Out. And literally, I feel like they had to look at the cinematographer for inspiration, because it looks like creepy similar, the shots of it.
Okay.
It does.
Anyway, so they have this awkward
Wait, why
interaction.
do you think it's wrong? Do you think there's another thing it looks like?
No, I just think you're incorrect.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
But everyone will check it out when we tell them where to find
Yeah.
it. And they will tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Great. So then she gets a call about a case, the case of the episode, and instead of waiting a moment, immediately calls Lucy to come watch Noah. because she's not letting Sheila stay there alone. Which, knowing where the season goes with Sheila,
Good
and
idea.
I will not spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, at that moment, I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Like, interesting, you can see what's going on in Sheila's head. So if you haven't seen the rest of the season, come back.
Yeah.
You'll know when.
We will discuss.
Okay. So then later, Sheila interrupts Benson's workday.
Yeah.
Which, like, that bothered me so much.
Seriously. I
And
was
she's like, I just need to see you and give you this glove.
while we drink some cappuccinos on a bridge. All right.
Oh, Sheila.
And I love Olivia gets so like emotional about it. She's like, it's incredible. Like, is it? It's a baseball glove.
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
The sport glove?
The sport thing.
was a
Yeah,
sport
it was
glove.
a baseball glove.
Great. So she says it was Ellie's sport glove, and Noah, Benson hasn't told Noah about Ellie yet.
They both love animals.
Okay, so she's explaining. So Sheila tells Benson about Ellie's favorite book, and they both love animals. I'm sorry, they're children, and they both love animals?
What?
I'm so surprised. They're
Crazy.
children, and they both love shapes and colors?
That's insane. They both eat food.
They love macaroni and cheese and pizza and fries?
They have eyes. Crazy.
So stupid. I was like, Sheila, shut up.
Like, it has to be more specific than this. It just doesn't
Like,
work.
oh, they're both really into centipedes? Hey, that's a very specific thing.
They both like animals.
She used to want to be a vet. Look how well that turned out. Probably, no offense, had she turned into a vet, probably would have been doing the drugs.
Yep.
Anyway, no offense to Ellie, who is dead. I really did not enjoy how much this episode Benson was like thinking about
She
Ellie.
literally has done that. I didn't realize how much that she did it in the first part of the season, but it's every episode she gets spaced out thinking about Noah and Ellie.
It's because Sheila's there, and I think that it like totally is useless to the show.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's not even just once in a, while. It's every episode.
So then when she comes back and she asks Rollins, am I too quick to judge people? And Rollins says, when a woman just shows up and wants to butt into your life, it's understandable.
Yeah.
And then she says, turns out she's not the witch I wanted her to be.
Okay.
Hilarious if you've seen the rest of the episode, the rest of the season.
I find it odd how she and Rollins are like BFFs now. Like, I'm kind of like it, but I also feel like she would confide in like Finn or something.
Yeah, Finn and her are definitely closer. And Rollins, I think the whole like, Rollins is a mom now. We can both be single moms
She
together.
has a sixth sense for these things. Yeah.
Ugh. And then we end the episode with Sheila babysitting. What?
Okay.
This seems like a mistake.
It's fine. She's not the witch I wanted her to be.
Great. That's the Noah crap from this episode.
Yep.
Tell us, before we get into news, which we definitely have, tell us about your Twitter poll.
All right, guys. So, since we had Rollins going undercover for a hot second here,
Literally a hot second.
my poll this week is what's your favorite episode with the word undercover in the title? There's 3 of them. One of them is just Undercover, which is obviously a classic, the one where Benson goes undercover.
Season 9.
Season 9.
It's the one where Finn cuts his hair.
Yeah, that's like a really intense episode. That one gave me nightmares after I watched it. But it's like, it's very well written and very well acted. And it's a great episode all around. The other ones, Undercover Blue, that's the one where Cassidy is accused of rape. That whole shebang.
Oh, yeah, great episode.
Yes. And
The
then,
one where, like, he's on trial for his rape.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
That
believe
brought
so.
us in Amaro's
Yes.
baby mama.
Laura
But he didn't
Benanti,
know about it.
Right?
No.
No. Sorry.
That's his ex-wife.
That's his ex-wife. Sorry.
No, the other baby mama.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one where he's a kid he doesn't know about.
I literally just like kind of forget Amaro existed sometimes.
How could you?
Just because he was like, he's not 1 through 12, but he's like not in the new ones either. He's in this like weird space of time almost for me.
Don't forget him because I have news. Go on.
Okay, cool. I liked his character. It just like sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, Amara happened, right? Mm-hmm. And then the other one is Undercover Mother, where the girl
such a good
goes
one.
undercover to save her daughter, and Declan's there. I think that one might be my favorite of them all.
That's such a good one.
I might rewatch that one tonight.
I just recently rewatched that one.
It's a good one.
That one, I want everyone, when you rewatch Undercover Mother, I want you to tweet me how many times Snow Bunny is said.
Okay, I'll count.
Because I was watching it and halfway through went, oh, I should have been paying attention because Carisi himself has said it 3 times in the last 2 sentences.
I'll actually tally this up for you.
Because Snow Bunnies cost more. Because
Right,
Snow Bunnies
right.
have to be requested.
Incredible.
Ugh. Snow bunnies are higher end. Okay, I have news! Woo!
AfterBuzz TV News.
Aggressive reaction, I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. So we will tell you where to find that Twitter poll as well as where to compare the scenes with the tea in just a bit. But here is the news. Christine Lottie, who you may recall as Sonia
course.
Paxton.
Oh, what a good character.
Sonia Paxton, who's best friends with Grace of Will and Grace.
Yeah.
Is going to be playing Gloria Steinem in an off-Broadway production of Having Our Say. No, sorry. She's going to be in a production of Gloria A Life, which is by the playwright of Having Our Say. Apologies. That was my
Wow,
mistake.
I'm going to New York and watching that.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Sonia Paxton's going to be playing Gloria Steinem. There's a
so
great
good.
side-by-side photo of them. They look nothing alike.
That's okay, though. I believe in her.
Other news is Danny Pino, also known as Amaro.
Amaro.
I don't know if you remember Detective Amaro.
I remember him, but sometimes he just kind of flies out of my head.
Okay. He is going to be joining One Day at a Time, the Netflix series.
I totally saw that news and I retweeted and got so hype.
Also joining One Day at a Time is, of course, Gloria Esteban. And so he's going to be adding to the 3rd season. There's a great picture of him with the cast. And so he's going to be playing Penelope's brother, Tito.
I'm so excited. And guys, I actually reviewed season 2 of One Day at a Time on AfterBuzz. So if you want your more One Day at a Time fix, search that and see me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That is my news, but I will also say, since we're plugging other AfterBuzz things that are relevant,
Yes.
From the episode Undercover, I last week had Todd Stashwick, who was in Undercover as one of the
Oh my
corrections
gosh.
officers that may or may not be the rapist. So check out that interview also on AfterBuzz.
So cool.
Look at us all over the buzz.
Wow.
All over the buzz. Okay, let's head into predictions.
Yes.
And I will tell you what's happening next week.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Next week is an episode called Something Happened.
What a vague title.
What a vague title. Next week is the episode, for those who do not remember, there's a woman and Benson essentially in a room together the whole time. Something happened to this woman, and this woman believes something happened to Benson. I remember when this episode originally aired, the promo for it leading up made it seem like Benson was going to reveal something, and there's nothing she says that we weren't already aware of.
Yeah.
Not a single word comes out of her mouth that we, as fans for 19 seasons, were not aware of.
Yeah.
Because the girl's like, what about your daddy? And she's like, he raped my mother. What?
We know.
Something we discussed in season 1? I'm pretty sure in the pilot. I'm so surprised.
It's a shocker.
Biggest surprise ever. So that's what's up next week. We will be here to cover that. The week after, we will not be here because some of us will be in San Diego.
Okay.
That is that. But next week, something happened. Do you remember this episode? Do you have any thoughts?
I remember watching it for the first time, and I remember I liked the idea of it because it's sort of experimental-ish. Like, it's very much sort of like a play almost, because it's like they're in this one room for most of the time. And I remember getting a little bit bored, a little bit burnt out, but I'll watch it again and maybe I'll like it more than the second time.
I think I disliked it the first time because the promo was misleading.
Yeah.
And so I was annoyed. But watching it a second time, I definitely enjoyed it more for what it was. We'll see how I feel after a third time.
Cool.
All right, we will see you next week. Until then, where can people find the poll and your tea photos?
You guys can find me, the tea photos, the poll on Twitter at @alphabet_Ann, on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_. I also host a bunch of other shows. I host Cults and Extreme Belief Tuesday at 8, The 100 Tuesday at 10, and Younger Wednesdays at 9. And then, of course, Law & Order SVU every Thursday at 8 o'clock.
Almost every Thursday.
Almost every Thursday.
Thursdays-ish. I'm Yael Tygiel. I'm everywhere at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. You can keep up with me on fanversation.com and check out that Todd Stashwick interview because he is awesome and it was about 12 Monkeys, which is ending this week. I will be back this summer for Wynonna Earp. That's right. Wynonna Earp returns. So I will be back for that after show. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Dun dun.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.